Okay, so today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about proper lifting techniques. Before we get started, I'm just going to hand out an instructor assessment form. This will give me a general idea of how you guys viewed the presentation and how you viewed my presenting skills. So, proper lifting techniques. Before we get started, is there any objects that you guys lift at work that you can think of that would require you to use proper lifting? Yes, Tyler.
Dog food.
Dog food, yes, exactly. As well, we have mop buckets and a dog kennel up here as examples too. So I'm going to be eventually showing you guys how to properly lift objects that we regularly use at work. So our learning objectives. So by the end of the presentation, hopefully you guys will be able to identify some of the injuries that are associated with improper lifting. As well, I'm going to list and get you guys to follow through with the proper steps of lifting. And then I'm just going to show you guys some tips and things to remember when you are faced with lifting. So before we go on to the next slide, does anybody know any injuries that can result from improper lifting? Tony?
Muscle tears?
Muscle tears, exactly. So, injuries that can be resulted from improper lifting. Back strains and back sprains. These are exactly like muscle tears. A strain is an actual tear of the muscle in the back, whereas a sprain is more just a pull of the back. Both result in the back muscles feeling very tight. And then we have slipped discs. So discs are what cushion the vertebrae in your back. With improper lifting or forceful exertion, they can potentially slip out. And then we have acute or chronic injuries. So an acute injury is something that occurs from a one-time occurrence, usually when you're trying to lift a load that is too heavy for your body. And then we have a chronic injury, which occurs from repeated forces. So this can be even simply lifting a bag of dog food every day, but the one time you lift it improperly, it can result in back strain. So, steps to a proper lift. I'm going to be going through the steps it takes to actually assess the load and lift it properly. So step one, you want to size up the load. So I have my dog kennel here. I'm going to size up the load, make sure that I and my body am capable of actually lifting the load. And then you want to ensure that you have a clear pathway, making sure that no obstructions are in your way if you do have to walk around with the load. And then keeping legs shoulder width apart with the load between your legs so that you can bend down with proper posture. And then when you do pick it up, bend at knees, keeping your back straight so that you put all of the pressure and the weighted object on your leg muscles, which are a lot stronger than your lower back muscles. Ensure that you have a good grip so you can properly pick up the object. And then when you lift, you want to push from your legs, keeping that strain off of your lower back. You want to keep the load close to your body with your arms at your sides so you can maintain proper grip and so you can control the load that you're holding. When you deposit the load, you want to repeat the steps backwards, so we'll bend with our knees, keeping the back straight, and deposit the load. So I'm going to get you guys to also do the steps with me. So if you want to stand up. So we're going to size up the load, make sure that we are capable of carrying it. We're going to ensure that we have a clear pathway so we can move around with the load if we have to. We're going to keep legs shoulder width apart with the load between our legs. And then you're going to bend at the knees, keeping your back straight, and get a good grip on the load. So if we all want to bend down, grab our load, and then we're going to push up with our leg muscles, keeping that strain off of our lower back. When we have the load, we're going to keep it close to our bodies. Tyler, why? why we keep the load close to our bodies.
So we can control it?
Yes, exactly, perfect. So, yes, exactly. So to deposit the load, we're going to bend at the knees, keeping back straight, and put it down. Perfect. So you guys, I'm sure, can tell the difference if you do actually focus on using your leg muscles. Your back muscles are not going to be strained during the lift. Perfect. So you guys can sit down. Perfect. So next, I'm going to show you guys some tips and things to remember when you are faced with lifting a load. So can anybody think of any tips to keep in mind when lifting a load?
Keeping your back straight.
Yes, exactly. Perfect. So also things to remember. If the load is too heavy, I want to stress this to you guys. If the load is too heavy, don't lift it. Nobody's gonna make fun of you if it is too heavy, and no one's gonna think that you're super strong if you can lift a load that is too heavy. So also ask a coworker or a friend to help you. The two buddy system with the proper lifting techniques does work. With two people on the side, you do have room to properly bend down and lift it together. When you are holding the load, to ensure that you don't strain your back, never twist or turn if you have to move the load around. Make sure that if you have to move the load, keep your back still straight and move your feet with the load. Stay fit and warm up or stretch before lifting. If there is a load that you think is quite heavy for you, make sure that your muscles are warm enough to properly lift it. And then just a quick fact, aside from the common cold, back injuries are actually the number one cause of why people will call in to work. And they make up of 41% of workplace injuries. So it is pretty common in the workplace, especially with young people like us. We need to properly learn while we're young to lift properly, so that when we do get older, our bodies get more brittle, I guess, then we can properly lift and avoid strains and tears like that. And then just some references in case you guys want to do further investigation. Also, I'm going to hand you guys just a 5-question question sheet just to see if you guys did retain any information, and I'll get you guys to fill those out after as well.